We're going to show you how to program a Macnaught summing register, and this is has the number of GB116. So this is the one where we use two flow meters, usually on a diesel generator or a diesel engine set, where we want to measure the differential flow between the supply line and the return line, and we have two flow meters put in those lines, and we subtract the return line from the supply line and it will read the total flow. So I'll show you how to do a quick setup on this and how to go through the programming functions. So basically what we do is we have your program and enter key, your select and your up key, your clear and your write key. So we'll start with press and hold the program key, which is your left hand key, for about 7 seconds, and this will put us into the program function. Now you see it comes up setup, 1 and total and A. So this is for the first flow meter. So it's one of two flow meters. So we'll go through chapter 1, and 1.1 is for units, and liters is up in the top right hand corner. So this is the default function, we'll leave it as liters. We go to chapter 1.2, and this is the decimals, so we don't want to put any decimals in our final value, so we'll leave it as 0. 1.3 is the K factor on your first flow meter. Now if we're going to set this up, say it's a 2-inch flow meter and it has a K factor of 6.68, what we're going to do is you press and hold your program key, and then what this will do, at the moment you can see we have 1 in the left right hand digit there. So what we're going to do is we need to make it read 668, and we do that by pressing the right hand key to go over to the third right hand digit. We'll make that read 6. Move along, make that read 6, and then move along, and we want that to read 8. Okay, now I need 6.68. Our next function, which is, we'll enter that, and then 1.4 is the decimal place. Now I need 2 decimal places for that to read 6.68, not 668. So we press our program key. We can then press our up key until it's gone from 1 to 2. We enter that. Now that's made it read 6.68 for the K factor of flow meter A. Now we go to chapter 1, back to the beginning of chapter 1, and this is for only the first flow meter. So what I'll do is we'll go to chapter 2, and this is for the flow part of the first flow meter. So 2.1 is the unit is in liters in the bottom right hand corner. We'll leave that as liters. We got 2.2 is the time, and I want it in liters per minute, so that's in liters per minute, and that can be changed by pressing the program and go through the different functions. You can have all different sorts of values there, whether it be cubic meters, milligrams, kilograms, gallons, barrels, but we'll leave it at per minute. So we go to chapter 2.3, and this is the decimals for our reading. We don't want to have any decimals, so we'll leave it at all zeros. Chapter 2.4 is the K factor for the flow rate, and what we need it to make that is 6.68. So at the moment I have 1 in the right hand part of the screen, so I'll press the program key. I'll move that along and make that read 6.68. And you've got to keep scrolling around if you miss it. So 6.6, that one needs to be 8. Okay, we then enter that, and then we go 25 is the K factor decimal points, needs to be 2, not 0. So we press program, we go up 2, increment it, and then program, and that sets it into the program. We go to chapter 26 is the filter, and we'll leave that at 0. Now you can change the filter if you are getting any discrepancies in your reading. You can add a bit of value into that, but at the moment we'll leave that at 0. Chapter 22.7 is the period, and it's set for 1 second, so we'll leave that at the moment as the default. And we're back to chapter 2 at the beginning. Chapter 3 is for the total value, and this is for flow meter B, or the second flow meter, or basically the one that will be in the return line. So we go 3.1 is your K factor, and at the moment it's set to 1, and it depends on the size of the flow meter. Generally it's a smaller value flow meter than what is on the supply line, and it might be a 1/2 inch, which will be have a K factor of 112. So we'll program in, press the program key, and we'll move this across so that we can change it to 112. So it's 1, 1, 2. Press our enter key. Now there's no decimal point on this, it's just 112 pulses per litre. So then we can go to the decimal points is 0. We don't want any decimal points, so we leave that. And then we're back to chapter 3 again. So what we'll do is move to chapter 4. And this is for the flow rate side of the second flow meter, or flow meter B. We go to 4.1 is the K factor, and at the moment we have 1. We want to make that read 112, so it's program. Move out across so that we can make it read 1, 1, 2. We enter that. We then go to 4.2, and that's the decimals. We don't want any decimal points for that K factor. And then we're back to chapter 4. We then move to chapter 5, and this is for your display. And your display is going to have all different functions in it. So 5.1 is for your function, and this is for a total. So you can have total or flow rate. So basically we want it on total. Then we go to 5.2 is the calculation. Now the different types here I'll show you. So we go into program. You can have differential, or you can have add. Now because we're doing a summing function, it is going to be subtracting B from A. We need to go to differential. So we'll set that into the program. We'll go to 5.3, and 5.3 is your measurement, and it'll say whether it's bidirectional, not negative, threshold, or stationary. So we'll leave it at bidirectional. 5.4 is going to be your stationary flow rate. We need this to be 0, and 5.5 needs to be 0 as well, which it is. So we're back to chapter 5. We'll go up to chapter 6 is your power man, and your power man is set for your LCD. Now this is your LCD update, and we'll leave it at 1 second, so that means it will update the screen or the measurement flow rate every 1 second. We'll leave that. You got 6.2 is your battery monitor, battery mode. So we're going to leave that on operate, but these registers will generally be 24 volts supplied anyway. So we'll leave it on operate, and then we go to 6. We'll move to chapter 7, and you got flow meter. Now in your flow meter, you're going to have 2 input signals from flow meter A and flow meter B. So we'll go to chapter 71, and this is the input signal from flow meter A. At the moment is a coil low. We need that to read a read LP. So we'll just press the program function and brings up the program screen, and then we'll cycle through all the different variables that we can have. So you got NPN if it's a Hall effect sensor, NPN LP is if it's a low pass filter. We have the read switch, and then we have read LP, and that's what we want. So we'll enter that into the program. 72 is for your input signal of flow meter B. That needs to be read LP as well. So press the program, we go select, we'll cycle through until we get to read LP. We'll enter that into the program, and then that goes back to chapter 7. Chapter 8 is for your analog. So if we go into that, you can see it's disabled. We're not going to use it. So we'll go to chapter 9, and this is for your impulse. We're not going to use that as well. You can go to A as your communication. We don't need to set that, and B is for others. That's just for all your setup for the actual program itself, but we don't need to do anything for that. And then we go back to chapter 1, and that is how you set up the programming for a Macnaught ERS summing function register.